I mean, to be fair, like I'm using a new playstyle. Like, come on, like you really expect me to be this good instantly? Like, maybe it's a compliment to me. Some people were mad, I guess. Yeah. Honestly, like I do get kind of like annoyed when people like bring it up or they don't know that it was like because my controller. For me personally, I like having 18 as a cooldown mode because during fasters, after having a very intense game, having to jump right back into 19 and focus hard. They're like people are like, yeah, this makes you fall asleep or this is very relaxing to watch like late at night or something.
When I invited Myles to join me on the Pizza Dependency podcast, I honestly no idea who he was. Knew him from TikTok and knew that he had multiple top fours during Masters event and even a Challengers win, but no idea who he was. And Myles is a fun dude to talk to, but also very honest, and you can tell that in the interview that we had. Hi, my name is Frank, also known as Sir Mazer. Welcome to the Peace Dependency Podcast. Myles the Great is joining me on the show today. We talked about the TikTok, we talked about being a social media star, but also his journey through the NES Tetris community, CTWC 2022, which was a disaster, and a comeback during CTWC 2023. This and all more. This is our conversation. Myles, welcome to the Peace Dependency Podcast, and thank you so much for doing this.
Yes, thank you for having me on. Thank you.
Hey, first question is always the same question for everyone who's new on the podcast, and that is, how did you get into NES Tetris?
Yeah, so NES Tetris, I started playing with Tetris 99 actually, and I played that for about a couple months, and then one day I was just on YouTube and I saw Alex versus Jonas top 4, and that was just in my recommended. And so I
Yeah.
clicked on that and I watched it, and it was very interesting because I had only played Tetris 99 before. And I was like, wow, there's live Tetris competitions. That seems really fun and cool. And I was like, man, I'm kind of good at Tetris. Can I do something like this?
Yeah.
And so then I watched through. I saw the Jonas and Joseph, obviously, and I remember thinking how the commentators were kind of unprofessional almost. How they kept messing up the names, kept switching up Jonas and Joseph. I was like, come on, guys, are you professional commentators? How are you messing this up?
We're talking about Chris Tang and James Cheng.
Yeah, yes, yeah, and all the comments said that, and I was like, yeah, I mean, it was funny, and then yeah, and Tetris 99 I had gotten decent at, and I was like, I want to try a harder game. This game seems a lot harder. There's competitions that seems
Yeah.
fun. So then I got an emulator. I started playing. I joined CTM back in late 2019,
Yeah.
and yeah, I just started playing in competitions and talking with the community in there.
Did you start playing competition right away, or did you try to master the game a little bit first?
Um, I think I played competitions pretty quickly. I think I had around a 500,000 PB when I started. The
Yeah.
first match I played was in community tournament against Johan, actually.
Oh.
I played against him and I lost. He beat me pretty badly. So I remember being so nervous for that. I mean, I think that's everybody experiences that. Your first
Yeah.
match, it's very, very nerve-wracking. But it was
Yeah.
really fun, and that kind of motivated me to get better and try to become good at the game, I guess.
Yeah, so Tetris 99, that's also the first Tetris I played like pretty regularly before I
Ooh.
switched to NES Tetris. But for me, I'm not good at either games. But for me, it's like Tetris 99 has a completely different mechanic than NES Tetris. Like, was it hard to get used to not hard dropping an instant lock, a one piece preview, not a holding button, and all that?
Yeah, it was a little bit difficult. I got 100,000. I remember my first day playing 100K PB, which I was
Yeah.
pretty proud of. I was like, okay, so I can kind of play this game. But yeah, it was very difficult. Obviously, the DAS is really weird. It's pieces lock instantly, no hold. So it took me a while to get used to that. But I had some sort of stacking knowledge, a little bit, but
Yeah.
I still had to learn a whole lot for playing NES Tetris.
What kind of stacking did you use in Tetris 99?
Well, obviously, I did a lot of center wells to set up T spins and Tetrises,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of different patterns you look for to set up T spins setups, and that goes completely out the window in NES Tetris. So
Yep.
I had to basically forget everything I learned and try to start from scratch, I guess.
So Tetris 99 was the first real Tetris game that you played? You didn't play any Game Boy version or handheld version?
No, I'd never played Tetris before that. I was just with my friend on a Discord call, and we were
Mm,
watching the Nintendo Direct, and they
mm.
announced Tetris 99, and I was like, "Hey, it's free and it's coming out today. I'll try it. It seems
Yeah,
fun." I
really.
I like puzzle games before, like I played, or I don't know, I just like puzzles, and I like when I played Minecraft, I did a lot of puzzle adventure maps.
Yeah.
So I guess I always liked puzzles, and I guess Tetris kind of stuck out to me. So it made sense that I started playing it.
And do you play any other modern slash guideline Tetris games nowadays?
Yeah, actually in the past, like I think like 3 days ago, I started playing Tetrio again just
Yeah.
for fun to try to get U rank on the Tetrio
Oh,
leaderboard. Just
yeah.
a fun challenge.
Yeah.
Um I'm decent. I have like I got a 37 sprint yesterday, so I'm getting a bit better. I still have a little bit of knowledge, I guess, but still kind of bad.
Is it difficult to play all those different Tetris games and then still trying to maintain your focus or your main focus on NES Tetris?
I mean, honestly, yeah. Like I was playing Tetrio a lot a couple days ago,
Yeah.
and then I hopped on NES Tetris, and I was like, "Oh wow, wait, this looks weird." And my brain was like thinking of T-spin setups, and I'm like, "Wait, no, I can't do that. This is NES Tetris." So there actually is a little bit of adjustment that I have to
Yeah.
do.
So after you switch a game, like if you go for NES Tetris to Tetrio, you need a couple of games to warm up, and then oh, I need to tickle a different brain cell for this.
Yeah, exactly. I got to be like, wait, okay, no right well. I got to do 6-3 stacking, T-spin setups, and then I go to
Oh
NES,
yeah.
and I'm like, all right, I gotta right wells, do burns, all this.
Do you play tournaments or online matches in other forms of Tetris?
Um, I mean, I kinda used to in Tetris 99. I used to participate in the super lobbies they did,
Yeah.
where it would be like a bunch of players snipe each other. I used to do that a lot. That was how I got my start on Twitch. I screened myself playing Tetris 99. People would snipe me. I would play with them, try to beat them in Tetris
Yeah.
99. So, I mean, it's like I guess that's kind of a competition. It's not really that official, but it was just for fun.
I mean, Tetris 99, every match is competition.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you, for example, our CTWC is coming up or a massive event of CTM is coming up, do you try to stay on NES Tetris and not play other types of Tetris?
Yeah, I mean, I just focus on NES Tetris. I like honestly, I haven't played any modern Tetris a lot until like a couple days ago because
Yeah.
I was just that was I don't know why I just thought it'd be fun. But I mostly just focus on NES Tetris when I have competitions because I want my brain to be hardwired into that
Yeah.
mode of thinking.
So you started on an emulator, and the downside of an emulator is you get lag, and the upside is you can play on a keyboard and all that. But when did you change to traditional hardware?
Yeah, so I think I had about 600,000 PB. I got a At first I had a controller and an adapter, but it was
Yeah.
like one of those Tomy adapters that's like worse. So
Oh
that was kind
yeah.
of bad. And then I got a retro AVS, which allows you to play on your monitor without needing a CRT because I was like, okay, I don't really want to get a CRT. I'll just get this retro AVS, and plus I like travel sometimes, so I was like, yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah.
So that's what I started. I used that for up until like I got my first max out on that first couple max outs, and then eventually I did switch to original NES when CTWC was announced online, and they're like, "You need an NES," and I'm like, "Oh, okay, I guess I'll buy one now."
So that was like July of 2020, I think, in August of 2020.
Yeah, I remember I was actually on vacation in I was in Montana in a like log cabin, and I remember watching on my phone the announcement. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, it's happening online. I gotta
Yeah.
get this stuff. I gotta do all these things." It was like I remember it very vividly watching.
If CTWC wasn't online, would you bought that NES, original NES, that soon, or would you wait a bit?
Um, Honestly, I'd probably have waited a bit more, but it depends because, like, I don't know if I would have gotten it to practice for the original
Yeah.
competitions, like all the CRT and stuff, but I think it definitely would have been a lot later. I would have waited more.
So what playstyle did you use when you switched over to like hardware?
Yeah, so I started with DAS. I got my first, I think, 10 max outs or so, and then in I think February of 2020, I switched over to hyper tapping,
Yeah.
and I actually got a max out with that in like 2 weeks, which is crazy.
Oh.
And it was like a huge fluke, and I didn't get another tapping max out for like 2 months.
Oh.
But it was very nice, and I was like, that motivated me. That max out motivated me to practice tapping, and I was like, this can go somewhere. I could get good with tapping.
So, did you play CTWC 2020 with hypertapping or with DAS?
I did hyper tapping
You did
in
hypertapping.
CTWC, yeah.
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 So the month leading up to CTWC, September of 2020, you won Classic Tetris Brawl. You won Future Circuits of CTM. With what confidence did you went to the qualifying of CTM? Because that happened early October.
Yeah, I was feeling good. I wasn't very good at tapping. I feel like I had the very good stacking knowledge, but my tapping was a bit slower and inconsistent.
Yeah.
So, um, every time I played, that was a bit always in the back of my mind. I had to play a little bit safer, but I was feeling good. I When I qualified, it was obviously very nerve-wracking, but I managed to get 2 max outs, which put me up in the top like half of the bracket. I think I was like 20 something seed, which was
Yeah.
really good. I was happy about that. And so that gave me some confidence. And for my first year in CTWC, I felt like I performed about how I expected. Nothing
Yeah.
too crazy happened, but I was happy with it overall.
You went out in the losers finals. You went out against Brandon in a sweep. But like
Yeah.
then you said it went as expected that season, that year.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I that's kind of how I expected. I was happy I made it that far. I forget. Oh wait, I finished I think 17th because I had a good like losing score or something.
Yeah,
I don't
you
know,
were
but I
you were the
finished pretty
best
good
of
there.
the ones who didn't make that bracket finals.
Yeah, exactly. So I was pretty happy with that. I'm like 17th. Okay, I'll take that first year. Not bad, not bad.
So and then came a 2 months in challengers that you were like it's a division higher than the future circuit, and 2 months in a row you made it to the finals, but then ultimately both lost 1, 2, 3 against the various opponents. Was it like, okay, this is my step? I can reach the finals with challengers. Now I can slowly climb to masters events.
Yeah, I honestly forgot about that. I think I was feeling good. I was feeling like I was a more of an upper echelon player now that I had kind of shown myself in CTWC.
Yeah,
And obviously, since I wasn't very as fast at tapping, sometimes I wouldn't qualify as well. But I felt like I had very good match play and I was consistent enough to take down opponents and make it
yeah.
far in the tournaments.
So what was the progress like switching over from DAS to hypertapping? You just mentioned you got your first max out within 2 weeks of hypertapping. Like, what was what was for you the upper limits of hypertapping?
Yeah, I think on average I tapped like 11 to 12 hertz. So like I could probably get like two right on 29 most times, but some days I would for some reason tap very, very fast. So
Yeah,
it was kind of variable, which I didn't really like. I wished that I was more consistent at tapping because sometimes I would miss very easy taps and sometimes I'd hit harder ones and
yeah,
it was a little bit more annoying to deal with, but I feel like I tried to stack safer, and that kind of because playing DAS kind of helped me have that safer stacking in mind,
yeah.
knowing like some DAS limits and stuff like that, I guess.
So you think you had an advantage, like playing first dash and then switching over to hyper tapping? Because the old saying was like hyper tappers can't stack.
um, yeah, honestly, I think that myth is kind of fake, but for me, I feel like my dash stacking was really, really good. So, in general,
Yeah,
I knew how to set up my left side for certain pieces. Like I could set up a T piece, hole on the left side, like a 4-tap, or like set up for squares on the left, or just build for a lot of 4-taps. Don't go for high 5-taps on the left. Stuff like
yeah,
that are like certain patterns that DAS players might have practiced more. So maybe I had a little bit of that in my mind, because if you're going for less high 5-taps, you're not going to die as often. But if you're a fast tapper, sometimes you might miss one and die there. Like
oh yeah.
I just felt like it helped me play a bit safer and be more consistent overall.
So when did you start learning about rolling? Like when was the first time that you heard about rolling?
Yeah, so there was this like random group chat that I was like added into in like October of 2021, and Cheese was like sending all these like images and videos of rolling. He had all these like finger like here's how to like roll and stuff, and I was like, what is all this? And he's like, oh, I'm experimenting with this thing, and I'm like, this is crazy, and I wanted to try and get on that as soon as possible.
Yeah.
It looked very insane.
So when did you start practicing rolling?
Yeah, and after a Game Scout made his video on how to roll, it was in I think March of 2022.
Yeah.
Wait, it was or 20 was it 2021? Wait, no, 2022 I think he made it.
Let me.
No, it's 2021. It was 2021. It was 2021 he made it.
He
That's when
made
I started
so
rolling.
many videos, and sometimes I forget.
Yeah,
Like,
it was definitely 2021 because
yeah,
it was there. Yeah. So I started in after he made that video, the very popular how to roll one, has millions
yeah.
of views. That made me motivated. I'm like, okay, this is my time. I'm not good at tapping. This is my chance to prove myself as a player because I have the stacking knowledge. So if I
Yeah.
just have the movement, I could become a top player.
Was that the mindset that you were like, okay, this is my step to the top. Like this is my ticket to the top.
Yeah, I really felt like because I'd always just been lacking the movement. I felt like I had very, very good stacking overall, but I just lacked the tapping speed to get there. So I see
Yeah.
rolling as a way to get there with even higher tapping speed. So I'm like, I'm gonna focus all my effort, and I switched very quickly. I was one of the first rollers to do it before a lot of other people. So I just
Yeah.
really wanted to focus on it as much as possible.
So when did you start rolling during competition matches?
Yeah, I think let's see. I got good around after a couple months. I think it was June or July. I got pretty decent at rolling. I got my first max out around then with rolling, and I entered competitions. Um, I uh, I I was in community tournament because I was like switching my controller around a lot, and so I was
Yeah.
still practicing things, and so sometimes I do good, sometimes I do bad. I was still learning it. So some I think my first month I uh, qualified pretty bad, and I played I guess good. I lost in the finals I think of community
Yeah.
doing that.
Yeah.
Um but yeah, I think that was my first major-ish competition with rolling.
I remember that people were upset that you were in community tier, like a player who's constantly challenging circuit level, like maybe sometimes made masses, and now suddenly this dude is in community tier. Like, what is he doing here?
Yeah, I mean people were mad because I think no, I was actually pretty decent with rolling, but then I switched my controller, so I kind of like had to relearn a little bit of things, and so I qualified bad. But I mean, to be fair, like I'm using a new playstyle. Like, come on, like
Yeah,
you really expect me to be this good instantly? Like,
yeah,
maybe it's a compliment to me. Some people were mad, I guess, and I mean, yeah, it was just because I was swapping around a lot
yeah.
of stuff like controller, trying to get my rolling good.
It was also around the time that you were one of the few who had a alternate elo player base. Like I think it was with Das. You had a Das play style. Like maybe to play on that before you played rolling in competition matches, and that was also pretty much a controversy in the community. Like if you want to play switch play styles, you got to do it on your own and take the elo losses and all that.
Yeah, I know that was. I mean, honestly, I didn't really expect that to Pumpy or whoever to do that. I was just like, I mean, maybe it made sense at the time because this was like a new thing, and
Yeah.
like we didn't really think that far into the future, like that everybody would be switching. So I guess whoever did that, they were like, yeah, sure, like you can do that. I don't know. I'll take it though. Eventually, it got put back into my elo, so like it evened out, and
Yeah.
it was a controversy
But
for that at first.
but I doubt that in the end, in the long run, it didn't have any effect on the elo rating or whatsoever. So you maybe lost like 50 some points in elo, but you're playing now a high tier level. So if you beat a high tier player with a low elo, you get more elo points.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I just got. I think he just moved all the matches into my original. So
Yeah.
like, I think it's all good now. So it's, I don't know the exact calculations or whatever, but Elo's
So
wonky anyway.
you're not a fan of elo or don't care about elo?
I mean, a lot of people say they don't care about Elo, and I think they're lying. I used to care a lot about Elo, but now I don't really. I don't care about it because I'm like high up, so I just feel fine about my Elo, so I don't really care.
So so it's less frustrating when you lose to a top guy, and it's more frustrating when you're one of the top guys and lose to like a mid-tier Tetris player.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I feel like I put pressure on myself to be like I'm fine with losing to like a dog or like a Gerald or something, but if I
Yeah.
lose to a lower player, it makes me feel like bad because I'm like, oh, people are expecting me to beat them and I lose. Like that's
Yeah.
kind of bad.
So you say that you don't care about elo, but it is it is quite synonymous with now with all the elo matches that we had, and with every match pretty much CTM, CTL, and all that is accountable for elo. Do you keep track record of your elo, or is it like I don't watch it at all?
Well, yeah, I used to watch it a lot more when I was I think in the 50s. I would check it pretty often.
Yeah.
Um, Now I don't really check it that much just because like I'm happy with my elo and like if I go down a couple points or whatever, I'm fine with that. But I think when I was getting good, I cared a lot about it.
Yeah.
But I still care about it now. It's just like I don't check it every day and like obsess over it as much, I guess. Yeah.
So if you, for example, qualify for CTM and you have a back qualifier, like it puts you mid-tier challenging circuit, are you like, okay, I'm not going to submit this because if I submit it and I lose first round challenging circuit, that's like against someone who is maybe 50, 75 on the ELO ranking, I'm going to lose a lot of ELO points? Or if you don't submit a qualifier, it's because you don't want to play anything else besides Masters?
Um, yeah, there's been months where I've played in challengers, but sometimes I don't want to submit if I'm challengers because I feel like people's perception is kind of drives me. It's like they see me in challengers and they're like, "Oh, why is Myles in challengers? He had a bad qualifier. Like, ooh, he should like, why is he playing? Like, I don't know. That's like what I'm thinking. It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird to think like that. Like
Yeah.
people like other people expect stuff of you and I think I put too much like emphasis on that. I think I shouldn't care as much what other people think, but
Yeah.
that does get to me sometimes, honestly. But yeah.
So that is really the reason why you don't submit a qualifier.
I mean, yeah, like sometimes I don't want to play. But most of the time it's just because I feel like it would I don't want people to be like, ooh, Myles got challengers.
Oh
He
yeah.
gotta have bad qualifier or just
Yeah.
like something like that, yeah.
So during CTWC 2021, did you play rolling or did you play a hybrid style?
I played rolling and I was actually very bad with rolling up until like literally the day I think my match happened. I was still improving. Um because like I don't know why I was just getting better because rolling was so new. I was getting better by the day. My
Yeah.
qualifier, I was like pretty bad with it, but then for some reason over the next like week before the match, I got super good. So when it came to match play, I was actually playing pretty well.
So what was your perception when you started rolling? Like, so first it was like, okay, this is going to be a hybrid version. Like we're only going to use rolling on 29 and beyond because rolling on 18, it's slow enough that you can tap or play dance regularly, and you don't want to hurt your wrist or your fingers or your whatever. So it's like, was that the mindset for you that you wanted to play a hybrid, or was the mindset for you, no, I'm gonna full roll everything?
Honestly, I was just gonna full roll everything because I know a lot of people at the time were talking about just switching at Killscreen, but I really did not want to do that because I felt like it was annoying to grip switch, and me personally, my hands got super sweaty, and just having to like move my controller around and like deal with all that just sounded like too
Yeah.
stressful during a like intense match. So I just wanted to focus on doing full rolling as much as possible. So that's what I focused on. Yeah.
Did you try to use hybrids, or were you like, nope?
Um, I might have tried it once, but I feel like I barely even tried it because I was just so against it. I was like, I
Yeah.
really don't want to try and learn hybrid. Um, but I was like, my mindset actually, maybe I did do it a little bit because I was like, if I can squeeze one extra Tetris in 29 with rolling, if I have like a high stack and I sneak a bar over with rolling, that'll help out. So
Yeah.
maybe I tried it once or twice, but I wanted to try to do full rolling if possible.
So what was your process for learning rolling? Like, what level did you start on? How did you feel that you got better?
Yeah, so the only person that was really good at rolling at the time was Cheese.
Yeah.
So I pretty much copied what he did. I got a Goofy Foot controller. I used his grip and his way of playing, and I started playing on 29 actually as the level that I practiced on.
Yeah.
And I see a lot of people today say how like, oh, you shouldn't really try that. You should start on a lower speed to get used to it. But maybe it was because I was already a good player, but I just only, or maybe it was because at the time the perception was rolling is only used for 29 and you're going to
Yeah.
grip switch or something. But I really just focused on the 29 portion because I don't think people at the time thought of rolling as something to use on 18 or 19. So
Yeah.
maybe that changed my perspective, but 29 was what I practiced, just doing that over and over. It was obviously frustrating, but it did help me improve a good amount, I think.
How did you deal with those frustration? Like, I tried it, and I tried on the lower speeds, but I can't get it to work. Like, how do you deal with those frustration, like that the first step maybe hit, and then the first two maybe hits, but you never get that five tap, you never get that four tap and all that?
Yeah, I actually have a video of the first time I did rolling. I remember I was tapping, and then I was playing 29 and I just kept topping out and I was like, okay, screw this. I see this game scout video. Let's try this rolling thing. So
Yeah.
I switched so I did play 19 a little bit, I think at first. I played a little bit of 19, but that was the lowest speed I went. And I got some decent movement. I was able to get like 3 taps down like almost instantly, which was cool. So that motivated me a little bit. I got some movement, and then I think I practiced a bit of 19 until I was able to get 4 taps.
Yeah.
And honestly, um, I think I should have tried to learn 5 taps more. I think once I learned 4 taps, I was like, okay, I can just do anti 5 tap stacking on 29
Yeah.
because because most people with tapping didn't go for 5 taps on 29.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I don't need 5 taps on 29. I'll just do only something. But it definitely I procrastinated learning 5 taps a bit.
Do you still use the same technique that you used back then, or did it switch?
It's definitely shifted. I go for a lot of more 5 taps now, and I stack
Yeah.
like right well for Tetrises on 29 a lot. So yeah, it's shifted a lot, but I still do I try not to go for risky 5 taps. I try to play very flat and safe if possible, but I'm not scared of going for high 5 taps anymore.
No. So if you're high up the board and like at like 18, are you confident enough that you can get out of anything?
Well, the thing is, I focus on just not putting myself in that situation, but I am kind of confident I can get out of most things,
Yeah.
especially on 18. It's very slow. Like when you're high up on 18, my mindset is to always just make the correct placement and then just hope I get the right pieces. Like if I'm making all the correct placements, and I have like a 60% chance of getting out, I
Yeah.
mean, like more than half the time you'll get out of it. But also not putting yourself in that situation is important. Knowing when to burn, when to not be too risky is just as important as burning.
Is that something you learned the hard way? Like, okay, I need to burn, or did you felt invincible the first time you went rolling on 18?
I think I played very safe because since I started with DAS and tapping, my mindset has always been to play safe because I was like
Yeah.
play DAS and then I was an inconsistent tapper. So I'm like, okay, I'm always gonna try to be very safe. No crazy movements, no like go for all these like 16 high taps or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think that's still carried over to my play now because I'm one of the more consistent players on 18 nowadays.
So DAS pretty much helped you early on in your career, like playing relatively safe during your hypertapping era and during your rolling now.
Yeah, it's shifted kind of how I kind of play. It's let me become super consistent now, and that really does win you matches. If you don't have to play good. Sometimes you just have to outlive your opponent, which is
Yeah.
something that people forget about.
Yeah. So what is your PB currently? 3 point something, I believe?
Yeah, it's like 3.2 million on
Yeah.
a 29 start,
So
and I
double a
have a 3
rollover.
million. Yeah, double rollover on
Yeah.
29.
Your PB currently double rollover, and for a score attack that is great. You want the highest score possible. But what is your mindset during the match? Do you aim for that double rollover? Or do you aim for a rollover? Or what is the score you try to aim for? And then you're sure that you now 80% of the time you're gonna win that.
So, in competition, I try to just play very consistent. When I go into 29, I try to at least line out like to 31. Like I try to live like 10 or 20 lines because sometimes your opponent will like instantly top out in 29. And if
Yeah.
I see they don't instantly top out, then I'm like, all right, now I can go for some Tetrises. And I honestly do not like being behind, it's just like such a psychological thing. And it's like, if I top out now, I lose
Yeah.
instantly. So I really want to get ahead. So I try to set up like a Tetris or something, which
Oh
can be
yeah.
bad. But it's just like, it's something I need to work on getting like a good mindset for
Yeah.
that.
So CTWC 2021, you played rolling during the tournament, and you pretty much got the same place in the bracket as the year before. You went out in the loser bracket, but you reached the final bracket, the winners bracket first. With what mindset did you went to CTWC 2021? It once again was still online. So what was your mindset or your goal for that year?
Yeah, I was honestly still learning rolling, like I said, but when the day that the match happened, I was playing really well. And when I beat Tristop in the first round, I was really happy. And I was like, wait, dang, I'm actually like, I could do something this year.
Yeah.
It's kind of working. Um, let's say I played through, I did pretty well. I got to winners finals, and honestly, this was kind of annoying. When I was playing winners finals, my hands were starting to like hurt a little bit, and it was definitely wearing down on my play because CTWC was such a long tournament.
Yeah.
So since I was still new at rolling, my hands weren't as used to it, so they were hurting, and I was making a lot more misdrops, and that was really what made me lose. There was the physical, like having to deal with rolling for that long.
Oh yeah. And is that something you still have, like playing in a long tournament with rolling?
No, not really. I'm kind of lucky. I see a lot of people have hand issues and stuff with rolling. So I
Yeah,
feel like
exactly.
I don't know if it's my grip or something, or I've just been rolling for a lot longer, but I don't really have like if I play for like a couple hours, my hands will ache a little bit, but it's not
Yeah.
like I get any pains or anything. I can just take a break and it'll be fine.
So you don't have your hands in a weird position to roll.
Yeah, I mean, I try to just like keep my hands flat, and I don't have to like use my foot or something weird. I just put it on my leg and just try
Yeah.
to uh roll as like and smooth, I guess. So I think that helps.
So then you met Tristop again in the losers bracket finals. Was it overconfidence, or was it like, okay, if beat Tristop once, I can beat him again?
Um, yeah, I think Trisop he was the one who got more confident. When he played me, I think he was very nervous, and I
Yeah.
think I capitalized on that very well.
Yeah.
And I think by the time he played me, he'd gone through the whole losers bracket and he was feeling good, and I was obviously more tired playing rolling, so those two combined kind of let him win against me there.
Maybe a different mindset. Tristop with the back against the wall, knowing one loss and it's over. You coming off a loss and have to play Tristop to go back against Aaron.
Yeah, I was kind of like demotivated because I played Aaron and I lost in a decider, I think, and it was like I made a misshot because like my hand was like hurting and I just missed like a button or something and then I died because of that. And that was
Yeah.
like very annoying. So I think my mindset was a little bit off during that.
So a month later, in December, you reached the finals for CTM Masters for the first time. Unfortunately, lost against Alex T. But was that the confirmation that you got? Okay, this rolling is gonna pay off.
Yeah, I think even yeah, before that when I got my 1.4, which was like the third highest score at the time, that really gave me a lot of confidence because I was and then I made finals and I was like, dude, I'm making finals and masters. This is only like my first I haven't even been in masters that much and rolling's allowed me to do this.
It's like second time you've been to Masters. I think the first time you went to Masters when you started rolling.
I made masters, I think, with tapping. I made top four in masters like my first time, or I don't know, but I made top four
Yes, in
somewhere in there.
May of 2021, you finished top four in Masters, and then in December you finished top two.
Right, yeah. So yeah, I was glad that rolling was paying off and I was able to make it to finals. That gave me a lot of confidence for the future, for sure.
Yeah, and around the time you also a little bit earlier in the year, but you also promoted from CTL Division 2 to Division 1. You've been a mainstay in CTL Division 1. We had King on the show and said that you're one of the reasons that CTL is back because you love to play the league format. What is it that you love to play in CTL?
Um, I don't know. CTL just like it feels like it's less uh it's more casual than CTM. So it feels like I can chill a bit more and it's just fun because you get to play a lot of different players and it's not like all in one day. It's over the course of like a couple months.
Yeah,
And it's just a really nice way to kind of gauge how you're playing because you play against really good players, you play some like not as good players, and like you have to consistently win to put up points against them. So
yeah.
I enjoy that.
So do you enjoy that more than playing in CTM?
Well, CTM I think always will have that kind of that higher level of respect for it, I
Yeah,
think. But CTL does have a lot of respect for Div 1 as well. And I I think I'll keep playing in CTL for a while just because it's fun to play against a lot of different players and like even if you lose one time, you're not like out or anything.
yeah.
So you get a lot more opportunities and stuff like that. It's a little bit less punishing
You,
and I enjoy that.
you're guaranteed a minimum of 6 to 7 matches in a season.
Yeah, it's not like you have one match and then you're done. You have to wait
Yeah,
another month. For CTL, you can like you lose one, okay, you can play another match next week, and you're
yeah,
not even
exactly.
guaranteed to get relegated, which is nice.
Yeah. So and then in 2022, you won your first live event,
Mhm.
CTWC the Desert Qual. Well, and the year prior, you got to the finals and then you lost against Nevinator. Was it a revenge mode? Like I want to win a live qual?
Yeah, that was really one I wanted to win because I lived in Arizona where the qual happened. It was like a short drive over. So I was like, all right, this is my home. I gotta win. Everything's right. This is my chance to prove myself in a live setting. So
Yeah.
I was really focused and trying to play the best I could all day there.
So was it fun to play in a live tournament?
Oh yeah, it was great, and it was really fun that Chris Tang was there as well. He got to commentate.
Yeah.
Did the I don't know if it was all of the tournament, but at least in the finals he was there, and I got interviewed by him after, which was really nice. And so it was a really good experience overall to win a live tournament.
Yeah.
It made me feel good because that was the reason I got into the game originally was to like play in live tournaments, like seeing Jonas, Alex, Joseph, all these people do these live events. It seemed like a lot
Yeah.
of fun.
If the opportunity is right, do you try to play a lot of live events?
Yeah, I going to the Kansas City qualifier that's happening in about 2 weeks actually.
Yeah.
December the 2nd, 3rd, first weekend of December. I'm going there and I mean that's a little bit away. I gotta take a plane for that. But I just really like doing it. Like I think it's really, really fun to meet up with people, play
Yeah.
Tetris, like have fun, like just do a bunch of random stuff. I just really like that. It's like I'm just hanging out with my friends for like a whole weekend. It's great.
Yeah. So then 2022 CTWC back live in Portland. You come there, great confidence. You won the desert qualifier. You did it okay in Masters and all that, and in the league. You qualified, and no goal bracket for you. What was
Yeah.
that feeling like? You've been on top of the game, like top 16 player in the world, and and then you didn't qualify for the gold bracket.
Yeah, that was pretty unlucky. Um, I kind of knew like because the weeks leading up to CTWC, like, dude, my controller was just like not good. I was like every chance like after school I had a screwdriver in my hand, screwing, unscrewing, trying to get my controller to work because I knew that it was just not up to par and it would just something was bad was gonna happen if I didn't fix it. So I spent so many hours just trying to fix it. And I mean, and nothing really happened. And um, yeah, so I honestly wasn't too surprised when that happened because I figured like something like that might have happened. It wasn't like out of nowhere that happened for me. I kind of knew that something bad might happen.
And switching controllers was not an option.
Um, no, I did try like Eric's controller and Fractal, but I think because I was just so used to a bad controller, I couldn't really make the switch. Like I think because with rolling, you're so used to like a certain D-pad or a certain controller, and I
Yeah.
did try it. Like even before the bracket play happened, I was with Eric and like he gave me some pads to use, and I just could not get any movement down with it consistently, which is really frustrating because that's one thing about rolling. If you like get too used to like a bad setup or something, it's hard to switch. So that was really frustrating for me.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's all right.
So
Yeah.
so even with a good controller, it's like if someone else's controller which is a good controller, it's still difficult to make that switch from your controller, which is a bad controller, to someone else's controller.
Yeah, like so even like so last year or sorry, this year rather, I tried out some people's controllers and I was able to play on them very well. And that's because now I'm used to a good D-pad and a good controller. But back then I was only used to a bad D-pad and a bad controller. So I
Yeah.
couldn't make the switch right away to theirs. But now I can do it pretty much instantly because
Oh,
I'm just that much used to a good controller now, I guess.
was that the moment that you realized, okay, I should maintain my controller, swap out the pads once in a while and all that?
Yeah, I don't know if I should say this on here, but I don't want to say this, but like I think it's something about like Steve's controllers are kind of like not as maybe good because I know Cheese also had some controller issues, and he used Steve's Goofy Foot, and that was one of the reasons why Cheese might have quit is because he was having trouble with his controllers as well, and it was very frustrating. So
Yeah.
so I just swapped off of the Goofy Foot, got one of Eric's controllers, and I've been playing pretty much good ever since then.
So Eric controllers is also a goofy foot style, or is that a regular controller that you play like upside down?
Yeah, it's Goofy Foot. He also has a custom Goofy Foot board.
Oh yeah.
So I could probably switch to a regular controller, but I don't know. I just got the Goofy Foot because I'd been using that. But I honestly don't think it'd be too difficult to switch to regular. It would just take a couple days of rewiring my brain a little bit. But yeah.
Yeah. So as some rollers are playing on a regular controller, and they are playing like left is right, right is left, and I feel like that is so wrong on so many levels. You know what I mean? If it feels so weird to see that.
Right. Um, I honestly don't think it's too difficult to learn because I know with tapping, I did something similar. I reversed the controls when I did tapping.
Yeah.
So I kind of knew I could learn the same thing for rolling if I needed. But since Cheese was really the only person that rolled at the time, he used a goofy foot, so I also did. I just
Oh
copied
yeah.
what he did.
Yeah.
Maybe if there was somebody else that switched the controls, I might have done that. but I just copied what Cheese did.
Yeah. So it was also no surprise that you went out first round of the silver bracket, or had you some hopes for the silver bracket?
Nah, I tried like fixing my controller and stuff the night before, but I couldn't get it to work, so I knew that I would go out the first round. And yeah.
So with that knowing, I think it's okay if you lose that way because you know you're gonna lose, and then you can enjoy the rest of the weekend, for example.
Yeah, I knew I was gonna lose, so I wasn't like too sad when I lost them. But like, I mean, honestly, like I do get kind of like annoyed when people like bring it up or they don't know that it was like because of my controller. Like some people think that I just like choked or something, but it's like no, like look at this year. I literally qualified with like I don't know, like 11 max outs or something. Like I'm not gonna be nervous. That's just a big anomaly. So I get a little bit mad when people bring it up because it's like, dude, like come on, bro. Like I don't like when people bring it up like about like they don't know the full story.
Yeah.
And like when people know the full story, it's fine. It's like, yeah, it's just my controller. But I honestly really hate blaming my controller. I hate blaming on outside factors. It's so like it feels just so wrong to do that. But since it's like actually like the thing that happened, it just feels so annoying to do. Like I don't like when other people do stuff like that, and so I hate that I do something like that. I don't know. It's just I just hate doing that. It's so annoying.
Okay, let's switch. How was it to be at the World Championship in 2021?
It was great. I had a lot of fun hanging out there. I was like deep down, I was like very sad that I wasn't able to play, but like yeah, I just had like the cope that it was my controller. But like I hate that like that's like a thing. Like I was happy I got to play last year. I hope that like this year, now that I played, people can just like forget about like all that. Just be like, yeah, what happened in 2022? Nothing happened in 2022. He played in 2023 and he got top 16. That's all that happened. Yeah.
That's true. It was magnificent. Like I feel the anger. Like sorry, I was like, okay, I want to know the story. What happened during the silver bracket? And I had like, I knew there was something going on. I heard some rumblings about you had controllers issues, but I didn't know it was you were gonna be this fed up. Fed up with
yeah, I hate blaming stuff like this because I want to just like be like I wanted Tetris is like such a it's supposed to be a mental game, but the fact that I have to blame it on something that's like outside of my control or something like this, but the fact it's like it, but some could argue it's not even out of my control. So that's like I don't know. It's just like I just hate talking about it in general, and I just like hope that people just forget about it eventually. Like that's why nowadays, like now I'm just trying to do the best I can and like maintain my controller and like do everything, make sure it's all good. I don't want anything like that to happen again because I'm there to play. At the end of the day, I'm there to play, and when I don't play, it's like that does hurt a little bit.
We will return to the conversation, but first, we moved home from YouTube. We are now on the Classic Tetris Monthly YouTube channel, where all our episodes will be available at full length. Join the Classic Tetris Monthly Discord server. Go to ctm.gg/discord to join the server and participate in one of our monthly tournaments and join the biggest Classic Tetris Discord server. If you have a suggestion we need to have on the next Peace Dependency podcast, let us know through the socials or on the Discord. Peace Dependency Podcast is also available on Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app. There is also a Peace Dependency YouTube channel. On this channel, you'll see podcast highlights, mini documentaries, and other NES Tetris related topic videos. You can follow us on the socials at Peace Dependency, and we are active on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Now, let's go back to the conversation. So with that in the back of your mind and hearing a whole year about you playing at CTWC 2022, was it nerve-wracking going to CTWC 2023? Like, I have something to prove. I need to qualify for that gold bracket.
Yeah, no, it was honestly very nerve-wracking. The first game I got up there on stage, I think I topped out like 700k, and I'm like, freak, bro, I topped out first game. This is so bad. And then like next game I max out, and I'm like, okay, I got to max out. I improved. Okay, I'm good. And then from there, I just kind of kept going, and then I got more calm over time, and I finished pretty well in qualifying there. So I did not want it to happen again, okay? Because like I just wanted to make sure everything was good. And like
Yeah.
I hate because it's like I'm a top player. I feel like it's bad. It was like bad that I didn't qualify. It's like people were expecting something, or it's like I don't know. And people are always gonna like probably use it as an example. They're like, oh yeah, like people have bad qualifiers. Like look at Myles, like he didn't qualify, and I'm like,
You got company this year in players who have a bad qualifier, because I mean, it looked like that the world champion wasn't going to qualify for the gold bracket this year.
I know. Yeah, he was sitting right next to me actually. So I was there to like I could see him like playing the whole time and he was pretty frustrated and I know that feeling. Like
Yeah,
I'm sure for him it was even a bit more frustrating because he's the world champion, even like a bigger expectation. So I totally understood what Eric was going through there. So
yeah.
it was like kind of some guess some camaraderie a little bit there as well.
Yeah, and also a first round exit.
Mhm.
You had a buy round zero, actually, in round zero exit. You had a buy for the first round, like round zero. You won against Wallband, and then you had to play up against Blue Scooty. I can't remember if TTL playoffs happened around that time, but he finished second during last season, season 22 in Classic Tetris League. Were you in a division with Blue Scooty that season?
Um, I don't think so. I don't think I played him. So I knew Blue Skitty was good. Like I'd seen him posting like PBs and stuff, but
Yeah,
I didn't realize he was actually that good in a live setting as well. Because for a lot of these new players, it was their first time playing in a live tournament, and it was CTWC. So
yeah.
really did not know what to expect. But he played really well. I was surprised at how well he played.
So ended up top 4. So is it always a good feeling that if you lose to someone, they end up top 4, top 2, or maybe win the event?
Yeah, it's always nice because it's like, okay, well, he finished top four, so I went out to a good player. It's not like
Yeah,
I lost to somebody who lost next round or something. So
yeah,
that
exactly.
made me a bit happy because like I played kind of bad against him. I did have one good game where I clutched up a win against him, so that gave me some that made me a little happy that I got a good clip out of it at least.
Was top 16 your goal, or were you like, okay, I'm aiming for top 8, maybe top 4?
Yeah, top 16 was my goal because I had never made it there. So I was very happy that I was able to make it to top 16. So losing to Blue Scooty, I mean, I was obviously a little bit like I didn't want to, but like I made it top 16, which was already higher than I'd ever been. And I was very
Yeah.
happy about that. Especially last year, I was like, even just making it to the tournament, I was happy. So making top 16 was a great thing for me.
So I set on 2024. Top 16 still the target, or do you want to improve?
I'm gonna improve for sure. I made a top 16. I'm gonna try to make it top 8 next year, which will be very difficult. Obviously, a lot of people are improving. There's a lot of new gen players that are getting very good at rolling now. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be just as if it's gonna be more difficult to get there, but I think I can do it. So
Yeah.
that's really what I'm gonna be aiming for.
Did you feel like when you started rolling that a rollover was possible, that like the 6.4 million game that Eric put on was possible, we could reach colors and all that, or did you think like rolling is getting us to 1.4, 1.5s more regularly?
Um, yeah, I mean, I never expected like rollovers and like colors or anything like that to happen. I just remember watching like Hydrant Dude play. I was just like jaw dropped the whole time. Like that kind of opened my eyes to what is possible with this play style and made
Yeah.
me think about could I do this or could I one day reach this level of skill? It gave me some hope a little bit.
Yeah. So now you speak about the new generation of rollers, like Blue Scooter, one of the new generation of rollers. You're one of the first who picked it up. Do you feel like you have to fight against the newer generation, like the younger people?
Yeah, no, I kind of want to beat them. Like I want to still prove like I'm good. Like I kind of wonder how like Harry Hong or somebody else feels. Like maybe that's why Harry Hong's a little bit more like fed up with the community now because there's a
Yeah.
lot of new players that are better than him. Like I definitely feel a little bit of that now because like next time I see Blue Scooty, if I play him in Kansas, I don't want to
Yeah.
lose. I'm
No.
there to beat him. I gotta
Yeah.
show him I still got it.
So it's still fascinating that when Joseph won CTWC 2018. A lot of young players got into the scene. You got a year later into the scene, into the community, but now with rolling, another generation, like a generation below you, is going into the scene. We have Bandy, who broke 19.5 with Daz, Blue Scooty, who's like 13 or 14 playing top 4 in CTWC, all these up and coming stars. And like you, Doug, Andy, and all that, you are finishing high schools, going to college, have less time to play Tetris. That was one of the reasons why Eric didn't perform this year well, went to college, had other priorities, loved to play Tetris the Grandmasters and all that. So, and they have like all the time in the world to play.
Yeah, like I saw on the CTWC Discord, someone's like, "How long do you usually play?" And Blue Scooty's like, "Yeah, I usually play like 3 hours a day."
I saw that.
I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I only play on the weekends now after school. Like, I don't even play during the week, which is crazy.
So you're going to college, right?
Yeah, I'm in my second year of college right now.
And you're staying on campus there?
Yeah, I stay in the dorms for most of the week, and my home is like in the same state, so I go home on the weekends.
Yeah.
That's where I am now. So, and like my NES and CRT is here at home, so I only really can play on the weekends. So that's pretty much the only time I play the game now.
So you can't you have no option of playing NES Tetris or any form of like console Tetris over on college at college.
Well, I do have my AVS. I play that. I can play that on my monitor, but it's slightly different, and I don't really want to get used to it, like mess up my timings or anything. So if I have to play a match, like I'll use that to play, but I prefer to play on an NES. It just feels a lot better.
So you only play matches on that, and maybe train before a match to get used to the timings, but not train regularly, like 1 hour a day or so.
Yeah, I won't use it as just practice. Like if I have a match, I'll like practice the day before and then play the match. But I won't I won't for fun like use that. I'll try to avoid it because I don't want to mess up timings in general.
So how did your roommates react that you are an NES Tetris player and that you have to play at weird times?
Well, my roommate is actually my brother. So
Okay.
I have a brother. I have a twin brother, and we go to the same school.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah, so I didn't really have to explain that much, which is very nice. It would be very awkward to explain.
He's used to it already.
He is used to it. He does get annoyed with the rolling. He's like, "Hey, can you like stop rolling? That's kind of annoying." It's like that's also one of the reasons I don't play as much in there.
Like we recently moved, but in my old house, my wife, our bedroom is attached to the living room, and we had always the door open. And when I tried rolling, my wife said, "Can you please shut the door? The rolling noise is annoying."
I know, yeah, I've been there so many times, and I'm like, no, dude, I have a match. Give me like 10 minutes, bro. I'll be done.
So I believe it's very awkward to explain to a roommate, but it should be very awkward to explain to other people going to college that they recognize you from. Well, we're gonna talk about TikTok and all social media and all that, but also about that you went to the World Championship.
Yeah, honestly, I'm very lucky that pretty much everybody I've talked to about Tetris, they've all thought it's really sick. Like nobody has ever said like, "Oh, that's dumb" or something bad.
Yeah.
They always think it's really cool that I play in the World Championship and do all this stuff. So I'm really grateful that I have a lot of friends and people that are supportive of it.
It is a weird hobby to explain.
It is weird. It's like, yeah, I play Tetris. I'm good at it, and I do this weird thing with my fingers to play.
And it's not a modern game. It's like a game that is close to 35 years old.
Yeah, and they're like, "Oh, wait, you play on like the keyboard?" I'm like, "No, I play on a controller on an old TV on a game that's like 30 years old."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So a lot of people know Tetris and they're like, "Okay, I probably can pick that up." But then you show them one of your clips and like, "Yeah, about that."
Yeah, they're like, "How do you think that fast? I can't even like see the pieces And I'm like, yeah, it's just a lot of practice. I was there at one point.
Yeah, we talked about getting high up the board, and uh, if you put the pieces right, you can survive it 60% of the time. Is it mostly muscle memory that you can
Um,
survive?
I mean, I've been in digs like very often. So I kind of know certain like patterns, like, okay, I can't make the left too high. I have to put this piece flat, even though it looks bad, it'll pay off in a couple pieces. There's
Yeah,
certain things like that that can help you survive burns more
yeah.
easily.
So do you if you digging out of a situation, uh, are you trying to make piece dependencies or like specific J dependencies, L dependencies, or whatever? Or do you try to make dependencies that can fit two or more pieces?
Yeah, I try to be as accommodating as possible, so I try not to set up any long bar dependencies or LJs. Sometimes you have to, and you need to rely on a little bit of luck there. Like
Yeah,
obviously, if you're like super high on the board, you're gonna need a bit of luck to survive.
yeah,
So you just need to make a good amount of luck. You don't want to rely on a bar, an L, and a J. Maybe you just want to rely on getting a L or a bar or one of
yeah.
those, not like all three at once, basically.
So in 2023, I believe one of your biggest victories came at Classic Tetris Wars, the Battle Royale tournament. I do believe this is one of the first tournaments that Grand Designs hosted that a lot of the top players were participating in it. Were you surprised that you won that event?
I was super surprised because it was like the field was stacked. And there's
Yeah,
like Andy, Sinev, Tommy, Alex, like all these really, really good players. And I mean, I my goal was just to like make it to the final broadcast, like the top eight.
yeah.
And then I don't know, I just for some reason was super consistent. I was getting these high scores and I was starting to feel like I could win as it went on.
It was a very close final. Like you ended up with 44 points. The number 6 got 35 points. So that's less than a game victory. A match, yeah, a game
Yeah.
victory. So you started in the quarterfinals. You qualified tier 2, so you could skip a lot of the first and second round. You ended up in the third round. You came second, I believe, in that. Then your first semifinal match, like you had the worst of the semifinals. Like Dog was in there, I believe. Alex was in there. SV was in there. And a lot of other top players, and you barely made it through the finals. Like you ended up fourth, and the top 4 went to the finals.
Yeah, I know. Like there is so many good players in there, and I was like not playing the best, so I just barely managed to squeeze through. I think someone like Noah Dangler, I think got first. He was a very big surprise there.
Yeah.
Some people played very good, some people played like not as good. So I was just very happy I was able to make it up in the top four. That was what I needed.
So Battle Royale is a concept that you play 8 games, and the winner of that game who scores the highest points gets 10 points. Is did it help that you are playing consistent? Like you can get consistent 1.2s, 1.3s, and all that.
Yeah, it's with stuff like that, I just try not to top out before 29 because when I make it to 29, I can look over and see like, okay, three other people have topped out. This person is behind. Like, then I can kind of try to gauge how aggressive or how I need to play. But I just try to make it 29 and get a max out, and that usually is pretty good. But you have to have those high scoring games. You have to have at least like a first or a second to put you ahead of everybody. And I
Yeah.
had one of those first placers, I think, pretty early on, which gave me a good amount of points, which really gave me confidence going forward.
What do you think of that concept overall, like the Battle Royale?
I think it's pretty fun. It's like 8 matches. It promotes a lot of consistency. It's not just like whatever, like 5 games you can have in a set. So you have to be consistent all the way through. You got to play for like 2 hours or something. It's like it's very draining. So
Yeah.
it's a whole different sort of ballpark compared to like a regular set.
Do you find it fun to break with traditional like 1v1 matches?
Um, yeah, I think it's cool to mix it up. Like I don't play in a lot of like the crazy, more crazy modes that he does. Um, but I think it's cool to innovate. Like Brawl was probably one of the first to do like 3-player matches and some of these different things, which I think is cool. I always respect people that
Yeah.
do new stuff. I appreciate how Grand Designs is putting in a lot of effort to do these new ideas and put on
Yeah.
these shows.
So earlier in 2023, you won the challenging circuit. Was that a goal to have, or were you like, okay, this is not really what I wanted? I want that masses win.
Yeah, I didn't really I didn't really have that as a goal at all. I just qualified bad and then I almost swept through the whole thing. I lost like one game to Macy in the first round,
Yeah.
almost sweeping everybody. So that was really cool to do. Get the role in CTM. I was like, okay, now I'm not pink anymore. Now I got orange.
But
So that was cool.
you defeated Doge in the finals in a
Right.
sweep. And then 2 months later, you met again in the Masters finals, and he defeated you. Is that like frustrating? Like you know you can defeat one person, and 2 months later the roles have been reversed.
Yeah, that was pretty frustrating because like I was playing like really good in challengers and then I get to masters and all of a sudden I'm just playing so much worse and it's like pretty frustrating because I've proven I can beat him and then I just play bad and it's like man like why couldn't I have just like play good in it where
Yeah.
it mattered. Yeah.
It's also the last time that you got to the finals of Masters. We had a one international top four, like with you and Vendy from the United States. I think you're in Mountain Time Zone or Central Time Zone. Vendy is in Central. We had Luis from Portugal. We had Alanbot for Singapore, and I'm forgetting one person. I think it's
Sinov, the
Sidnev,
Netherlands.
yes, from the Netherlands. I should know that where he's where Sidnev lives. But okay, but it's like that was a 7 or 8 a.m. match for you. Is that you usually play at like afternoon, mid afternoon, late afternoon, or maybe early in the night? How is it playing in the morning?
Oh, it was so much different. Like I played Allenbot at like it was like 8 a.m. I played so bad the first game. It was terrible. Um, it was like his time zone. Like it was a good time for him. So that definitely was a factor. He played very, very well. He was very consistent, putting up multiple 1.2s against me, which I did not expect at all. I played, I think, pretty average. I put up like 1.1s and 1.2s, but he was like really good. Like I did not know Allenbach could put up consistent scores like that at the time. Maybe it was the time zone made him
Yeah.
play better because for once he had his good time zone.
So is it frustrating that you had to play up that early, or is it frustrating in that sense that Tetris is a worldwide game and there is a possibility that you have to play against someone from Singapore or from maybe from Japan or something like that?
I mean, yeah, it's a little bit annoying, but like at the end of the day, I think a good player should be able to win in any environment. So I don't want to like use that as an excuse for like playing bad. Like I could have maybe if I really wanted to, I could have like practiced playing earlier or something, like put in more effort like that. So, but it's a little bit annoying, of
Yeah.
course, but I don't want to say it's the main reason I lost. I think Alan Bot played really well also.
So you said that you train only on the weekends. How much time do you spend on NES Tetris on a
Um
daily basis?
I honestly on the weekends I honestly play a decent amount. I play probably like a couple hours at least on the weekends,
Yeah.
depending on what I have. Like sometimes when I'm playing, I kind of like get lost in playing, and I manage to play for like 3 hours straight or something, just because I'm like having fun, or I'm just like playing 29 and just like listening to music and just zoning out. It's yeah, that does tend to happen a little bit.
Is that for you the way to go? That you pick a playlist from Spotify or whatever audio streaming platform that you use and zone out and play 29? Because 29, even for a viewer, I don't know how it is for a player, but for a viewer, it's very mesmerizing to see.
Yeah, Sometimes I just listen to like a stream or just like a video or something like that, and that I just kind of zone out and just play 29, try to line out, or I don't know. 29 is very addicting in the way that if you top out, just you can just go again, instantly get that dopamine of the super fast speed again. It's like
Yeah.
you can just keep going over and over.
Is the goal now to reach colors one day, or is the goal to reach a higher PB?
Uh, Definitely colors. I honestly haven't gone for PB in a long time now with the cap. But now with no cap, I mean, it's kind of motivating me. Like maybe I can get colors. Like now I'm practicing lining out and I've gotten a new level PB while doing that. I got like level 90 something, so
Yeah.
that gave me some confidence. I'm like, hey, if I actually practice lining out, maybe I could get colors one day.
What do you think of that CTM is month per month changing the rules? We had fastest masters, we had a level 49 life cap, we have the usual level 39 life cap on an 18 start, now no cap November. Is it difficult to change every month what type of tournament you're playing, or are you easy to adjust on the fly for whatever they throw at you?
Um, yeah, I prefer when it's like the same like regular Tetris, or they just do 1 month different. Like doing too many months of like different stuff is kind of annoying, but I mean at the end of the day, if you're a good player, you can adjust. Like we see like Fractal winning the Fasters, and he won CTWC. So
Yeah.
obviously, if you're a good player, you can adjust quickly, but I prefer when it's a little more consistent.
Are you in favor of starting only on 19 from 2024 forwards, or do you like 18?
Um, for me personally, I like having 18 as a cooldown mode because during fasters, after having a very intense game, having to jump right back into 19 and focus hard, it's a lot more difficult because my
Yeah.
heart is still beating. I might still make a misdrop or two, and if I do that on 18, it's not too big of a deal. I can
Yeah.
still recover. But
It's
on
like
19, it's more uh,
it's a
punishing.
5 minute cooldown, or something like 5-6 minute cooldown on 18.
Yeah, exactly. Like, because with Tetris is different than a lot of other games in a way how you have to be focused for like 10 minutes straight, then you get like a 10-second break, then you're focused for 10 minutes, then 10-second
Yeah.
break. So you get very minimal breaks. So having that 18 to cool down is pretty nice.
It's a way to go for 19 only that the break should be longer between games.
If I were gonna do 19 only, I'd probably want to like take a minute just to make sure my heart is like back to a normal level,
Yeah.
wipe my hands, maybe take like an extra minute or so just to make sure everything's good before
Yeah.
starting.
And now with like it's a minute, or no, not mandatory, but all the major events are using a 39 line cap. Is that the way you train? Like if you start on 29, you play with 39 double kill screen, or if you play on 29, you just line it out and whatever happens.
Yeah, when I start on 29, I mostly just go for Tetrises. I don't turn on the line cap when I start on 29 because if I like somehow make it super far, I want to keep going. But when I
Yeah.
play on 18 start, I will uh, focus on playing for 39 and only doing that. I don't really focus on lining out at all when I do regular 18 or 19 starts.
So do you train on double kill screen specifically, or is that way too fast?
That is way too fast. I did at one point have the double kill screen world record, but then Alex T came along and he's like 7 years younger than me. So like he is, I don't know if he's just faster at thinking or something, but he's just better
Yeah.
at that. I'll let him have those records.
What do you think that the possibilities are with double kill screen? Like the rolling broke regular kill screen, like the 29 kill screen. We can't even name it kill screen anymore. But do you think we will ever break double kill screen? Or I don't know if there's ever that we got into level 40 with double kill screen.
Yeah, we'll get a level 40 eventually. We won't get anything. Okay, I won't say we won't. Maybe we get a 41, but that's like that would be very difficult. Like, I mean, I did have that one chase down where I won on the double kill screen, which had never happened before.
Yeah.
I did not expect that. and that was a really cool moment because like I feel like I'm a lot better at double kill screen than others because I like had the record at one point, and so that
Yeah.
was cool to be able to do that.
You know, we'll edit this that you say that we will never get a 41, eh?
Yeah. Let's clip that. Let's clip that. And so when there's a 41, we can come back to this.
Exactly. Something else that can haunt you.
Yeah.
But are you in favor of the 39 line cap, or do you think it was a necessary change made to the need to be made to the game?
Yeah, at the beginning, I was like very against it. I was like, no, we should let like the game decide itself. But as people got better, I kind of realized that matches would take too long and people would just be better and better.
Yeah.
And honestly, 39 kind of promotes more skill now because you have to be very apt at setting up Tetrises and not just getting singles or doubles. So
Yeah.
it's a whole different ballpark now.
Yeah, you only have 100 lines on kill screen before double kill screen hits. So was it difficult to train for? Like the first time you went to double kill screen, it's like, oh, what the hell is happening?
Yeah, I definitely had to shift my mindset a little bit. I had to, because when I practiced, I never really thought about focusing on Tetrises or having a limit. So now I'm like, okay, let's
Yeah.
focus on getting a Tetris here. All right, now we can line out for 6 or so lines. All right, now let's
Yeah.
get another Tetris. I kind of had to shift my thinking a little bit.
So you are the biggest TikTok star currently in the NES Tetris community, over 161,000 followers, 7 million likes on TikTok. Today, congratulations though, you passed the 50,000 subscribers on YouTube, over 1,600 followers on Instagram. What was it that you decided to put highlights on TikTok?
Yeah, I started doing that when I started learning rolling 2 years ago. And at the time I was just making so many misdrops and then surviving them with rolling. And it was something that had never happened before. Like no one had ever been able to survive stuff like this without
Yeah.
rolling. So I was like, hey, I'll just share this to the world because I'd always wanted to like be a content creator and make stuff like that. So I was like, hey, this is some cool content I can post. Let's just start doing it. And then
Yeah.
get views. So I just kept doing it.
Was it a slow grind, or was it instantly popped off on TikTok?
Um, it was a little bit of a slow grind. Some videos on TikTok's very hit or miss. Some videos get a million views, some videos get no views. But I did have an initial TikTok following. I used to post like memes and just like jokes and stuff on there. I had a couple of thousand followers before doing Tetris, but yeah, some videos got like 100 views, but the ones that got a million views, that kept me motivated, and it was like, there's something here. Some of these videos do good. I just got to keep pushing.
So, how do you select clips from your gameplay? Is it like, okay, you're playing a game, you're getting this crazy dig, and then you pause the game, or after the game is done, you pause the game. Maybe when you record, okay, this is the time step for recording, and then you do your TikTok magic, and then there's the TikTok.
Yeah. So when I do a dig, I would just mentally remember, okay, after this game's over, stop the recording. So I stop the recording and then just start the recording again if I want to keep playing. So I'd always just look at the end of my recordings, and if there was something cool that happened, yeah, I just look for the end because I know that I stopped it for a reason.
And do you always use the same format with the TikToks?
When I first started, I uploaded it with like black on the top and bottom. Like I did like the uh whatever you call it, horizontal mode,
Yeah.
like like a YouTube video. So there was a lot of like dead space on the top and bottom.
Yeah.
Now I've switched to vertical, more like a phone, like it's covering the whole screen.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's made any impact, but I just think it looks nicer, so I switched to that.
Yeah. I think so too. Like I made a couple of shorts, and I feel like if you have the horizontal, like the 16:9 version, and the blur on upper and lower end of the video, it's not very pleasing to watch. If you have the 9:16 version, like a video, it's a bit more pleasing because it covers the whole phone screen.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, but like sometimes it doesn't even matter. Like I have videos like on YouTube, like shorts, like millions of views with like the black bars, and
Yeah.
I have good ones without it. So I don't like, sometimes it doesn't matter, but I think you should try to make it as clean as possible with the blur and stuff.
Do you know which videos will be a hit or which videos will be a miss, or are you genuinely surprised which one takes off?
Um, well, back in the day, I didn't really know like what video would pop off and stuff. Nowadays, I don't really post digs anymore. I post like sand Tetris stuff, and I focus all of my effort. I literally direct all of my traffic on TikTok to my TikTok live stream. I hardly care about the TikTok views now. It's
Yeah.
mostly just all about the live stream, getting as many people to the live stream as possible. So my
Why is
views are
that?
a lot lower because uh I when I stream on TikTok, I'm one of the top TikTok streamers actually. Like in general,
Yeah.
I get like a, a lot of people. Like I probably get like 500 concurrent viewers on TikTok whenever I stream, and it's honestly a very good like side hustle. It's like I could honestly like even make it like my job if I needed to, but
Yeah.
I'm obviously in college, so I don't need to do that. But it's a very nice way to make some income while I'm in college. So I just try to push all the effort onto the stream, get
Yeah.
everybody there as much as possible. Don't really care so much about the views. Let's just get people to the stream. That's my
So
thinking right
how
now.
did you discover Centris?
Yeah, I think someone posted it or I saw like an article about it. It was like a brand new, just like sand, yeah, like game.
Yeah.
And it looked pretty cool. And I was like, I see videos that people use it and they get a lot of views because it's satisfying, it's like new, and I'm like, hey, I'll try it.
Yeah.
And it actually was good. My first video, my first couple of videos, I got millions of views on one of my first ones doing it. So that was like, hey, there's something here.
And that's you play that on laptop.
Yeah, I have it on my computer. I just downloaded it.
Yeah.
I play an older version that actually got removed for copyright.
Oh.
Um, but I prefer that one because it looks better, and there's also a marathon mode that doesn't speed up, so I can like still talk to chat and I don't have to focus as much on the game
Oh
mostly.
yeah. And you can claim like I have a 6 million score.
Exactly, even though it like doesn't speed up.
Oh, is it a difficult game to learn? Like, or is it a very simple game? Or is it maybe just as simple as Tetris? It looks simple, but there is a bigger meaning of play.
Yeah, it's a lot different. When I first started, I was very bad because it's not like Tetris at all. The pieces don't really matter. It's just about the colors. So you got to
Yeah.
play very flat and you got to match the colors well and do different setups. So it's a whole different way of thinking and playing as opposed to the regular Tetris.
Has Centris ever screwed you up in regular Tetris?
Um, Not really, because it's like so much different. I
Yeah.
think something more like Tetrio would screw me up because it's like a regular Tetris game, but
Yeah.
Sand Tetris is like, nah, it's just way different.
So how much time do you devote to TikTok? How long does it make for you? How long are you working on a short, or how long are you working on a TikTok?
I honestly put like I put like zero effort into any of my shorts. I literally just clip link from the stream, uh, and then upload it. That takes a couple minutes, but I stream on TikTok every day for like 2 hours. So I'm like putting in like those hours on the stream
Yeah.
because that is where it's most beneficial right now.
And every day on the same time, like you have a regular stream?
Yeah, I go live in the evenings. Like, I have to go live later because I have masters and this.
Yeah.
But usually I would go live around this time on there, and I get a lot of European viewers. Honestly, they're like, it's 1 a.m. for me,
Yeah.
and I'm I'm watching your stream. Like I know it's probably late for you right now as well.
It's currently when we record this is 11:20 p.m. So I'm used to late night recordings with my American guests. I'm not, but it feels like something I'll be watching when it's 1 a.m. and I'm scrolling on the socials or on TikTok and I see
Yeah, exactly.
a
That's what
stream
they
like
say.
this.
they're like, yeah, they're like, people are like, yeah, this makes you fall asleep, or this is very relaxing to
Yeah.
watch like late at night or something.
Yeah, I like to watch something relaxed late at night before I go to bed.
Exactly, yeah.
So it works it like you can donate to you on TikTok, or is it like you get views and based on that views they get ads and TikTok pays a shared revenue with you?
Yeah, on the live stream, it's just all through donations. And it's like it's crazy the amount people will spend on there.
Yeah.
You can like I like help try to direct people to donate through like there's this thing called there's like a leaderboard on there, and the more people like donate, the higher you get on the leaderboard. So I try to promote the leaderboard a lot to encourage people to do that, and it definitely does help. People want to support you, and if it helps you go up on a leaderboard or something, they'll be even more willing to help
Yeah.
out, I think.
So the TikToks that you post on your TikTok account are also shared on Instagram and on YouTube Shorts and all that. Do you watch those statistics, or is it okay? I post that because I have the short, so I can post it on those accounts.
Yeah, on YouTube, YouTube is probably the one I monitor the closest because um that's where I get a lot of views. On TikTok, my shorts or my videos have stopped getting a ton of views, which is fine. And stuff on like Facebook and Instagram, I barely check that. YouTube is the one I look at the most
Yeah.
because I want to make sure that the shorts are performing well, if there's anything I need to change or stuff like that.
So in what way are you monitoring YouTube then?
I just go on the YouTube Studio app and I check like, all right, how do the views compare? Is it like a 5 out of 10? Is it getting a spike? And then I check like my 48-hour view videos, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, this video is popping off. It's getting a lot of views. I'll post another short now that hopefully more people will see because one of my videos is doing well. I've noticed that after about 2 months, one of my videos, that's when the videos start to go very viral. Like
Oh,
after 2 months or so,
yeah.
it'll start gaining hundreds of thousands of views daily. And I don't know if that's something with YouTube's algorithm, but that's what I've noticed. I've noticed very few of my shorts do well initially. They just
Yeah.
gain views and then go viral after like a couple months or so.
What I see with my shorts is like the first couple of hours I get like minimal views, and then 1 hour it get pushed to like 1,500 to 2,000 people in
Yeah.
a span of 50 minutes, and then you can see the hour rate, and then after 50 minutes, bum, back to normal rate.
Yeah, that's like what happens. And um I know when it does that push, that's good because it means okay, it wants to promote this video. And so that gives me some like that makes me happy. If I see it gets like no push at all, I know I have to delete it and re-upload it, or there's copyright music or there's something that's making it not be pushed out.
Yeah.
Which is what I monitor. But nowadays, all my videos that I upload usually get like 5,000-ish views in the first like 24 hours at least. So that's like I don't really have to watch out for that like 1,000 view
Oh
push
yeah.
anymore. But
And
yeah.
are you up with the YouTube Shorts, like all the TikToks that you posted on the Instagram Reels that you posted? Is that the same amount of videos that you post on a YouTube Shorts, or is YouTube behind?
Nah, it's the same amount. I just whenever I clip a short, I upload it. First I go to TikTok, upload it, then I go to Facebook, and if you're on Facebook, you can actually upload to Instagram at the same time, which is
Oh
very
yeah.
convenient. So I just do both at the same time, and then I go over to YouTube, upload it, and yeah, make sure it's all good, then go to bed.
So you're streaming Centris like 2 hours a day. How is your brother react to that? How did your brother react to it that you started streaming Centris?
Yeah, I always tell him I'm like, hey, I'm gonna go live, and I make sure he's like fine with it. He's like, okay. If he's like studying, sometimes I don't want to like disturb him, so I'll
Yeah.
like be quiet or I'll like go live later or something. So I do have his like comfort in mind. I don't want to be too annoying
Yeah.
with stuff like this.
I mean, I can presume it can be annoying when you stream daily for 2 hours in the evening, like from 8 to 10 p.m. or something like that.
Yeah, like I try not to do it too late. I try to do it at like 6 5 or 6 around then. So yeah, it can be annoying for him, but
Yeah.
he understands it, and he understands that like I'm like making money or getting views, so he is supporting that at least.
Do you think that Tetris will take off one day, or are you happy that it's a very niche game and that people are watching you play it?
Yeah, I don't know if the game will ever be like super popular. I think that it's like a fun filler game. It's almost like Subway Surfers at the bottom of a video, you know?
Yeah.
It's just something there to keep you entertained. Like I at least I hope that people are there to like for me like to listen to me or to talk with me. I think that that initially brings people in the game, but
Yeah.
then I get them to stay. That's what I like to think. I don't know if that's true, but I like to think that I get them to stay.
So you have to be entertaining at least. Like you have to play a game, you have to focus a little bit on a game, but you have to be entertaining. Otherwise, people will swipe away.
Yeah, I've noticed that when I streamed NES Tetris, I would get a ton of views, like thousands of people would watch it at once, but hardly any like donations, hardly any like engagement.
Yeah.
So nowadays I focus much more on the chat, talking to the chat pretty much at all times, trying to talk like almost every second, leaving hardly any dead space, which
Yeah.
can be tiring, but it is something that I try to do to like if you have momentum and people are like donating to you, like you want to try to keep the momentum going. You don't want to
Yeah.
like slow down or something like that.
So you stopped streaming on Twitch, like for as a content creator, and you stopped streaming on Twitch and fully focus on TikTok?
Yeah, TikTok is much more lucrative personally, so I'm focusing all my effort onto TikTok. And I
Yeah.
know long term it's probably not the best thing. Like, you know, TikTok could like be banned in the US or like I could lose viewers or something. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I was thinking about that, and I'm like, but that's why I'm trying to grow my Discord a little bit. So in the future, if I have to make a switch, hopefully there'll be at least like a decent amount of people that stick around.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
YouTube is slowly catching up, so maybe that's also a way.
yeah. I'm getting a lot of subs on YouTube, which most of them like they're from the shorts. So I don't know like how like good of a sub that is if they're just subbing and then scrolling a lot. They don't really
Yeah.
like they just see me as the sand Tetris guy. Maybe they don't know like about me at all, but it's
Yeah.
cool. That's another place I could talk to people, I guess.
I don't know if YouTube allows for a short form, like a vertical form of live streaming currently.
I don't think they do. I think it's just like Twitch where you
Yeah.
have to do the stuff like that. So um yeah, I'm not really focused as much on the I'm just focused on TikTok because that's
Yeah.
where it's the most lucrative for me with my time.
And I don't think like you can make a career currently out of it, but like you said, you're focusing on college, trying to graduate on college and then perform what you're studying right now. So it's fun to do it as a side hustle, I should say,
Yeah.
during your college period. But I doubt that with TikTok and the way it's perceived in the world currently, that you will be doing this in the next 4 years when you're trying to apply for a job or something like that.
Yeah, that's my exact thoughts as well. So I'm not like trying to stream like 8 hours a day on it and like skip a year of college or anything. So
Yeah.
yeah, maybe if I was like a Twitch streamer and I was getting like 1,000 views, maybe I'd do more into that. But this is just TikTok. It's like you said, it's a lot different. So
Yeah.
I don't want to put too much effort into it and like drop out of school or anything.
Yeah. So CTWC announced right before CTWC 2023 the World Tour for 2024. You are going to Kansas City, the World Tour opener. Are there more live events that you're planning to go to?
Yeah, I'll be at Kansas. I will hopefully be at Waco. That's gonna be in January, so that's like a month after.
Yeah.
Um, I might go to some other ones. I don't have any planned for now, but if it's close, it's like, and I'm available, maybe I'll go to it. Like, could be fun. I enjoy it.
Yeah. So, are you specifically trained to keep up that consistency for the tournaments and for the matches?
Yeah, I just pretty much practice when I can to play for tournaments, and I try to play in a lot of tournaments. Like I play in CTM, CTL, like wars whenever there's an event. So I try to stay sharp. I know a lot of
Yeah.
people have like practicing as much, but I still enjoy it.
Yeah.
So I want to keep doing it.
How was it for you to play in Gauntlet? You were a captain in Gauntlet. Don't know. I don't keep up with Gauntlet at all, to be honest. So I don't know if you're captain currently. But how was it to play in that like long season format?
Yeah, I'm still in Gauntlet right now. It's about halfway through the season, so there's like a small break. Um, but yeah, it's Gauntlet's fun. It's cool that I'm a captain and it's over a long time, like you said. So you have to stay consistent and on top of your game for a lot longer. You can't like take a month off to like train or learn a new play style. You have to be
Yeah.
like pretty good throughout the whole thing, which is can be annoying sometimes. Like if I'm trying to change something with my grip or my controller, it'll take a bit of adjusting and I might play worse for a match
Yeah.
or two,
But
which can suck.
does it also help that because Gauntlet has a 6 month season or something like that, and you need to stay on top of the game because you are the team captain, that it helps in the other competitions, like it helps in wars, it helps in league, it helps in monthly?
I think it does, yeah. Because it's just consistent practice, and I think a lot of players may not put in as much
Yeah.
competition, and playing a competition is the best way to improve because you train a lot of things at once, like your nerves, your safety, all this stuff. I think it's just the best way.
Yeah. Are you still nervous for a match?
Um, yeah, I get a little bit of nerves initially, but it's not too bad. I am able to play through it. And as the match goes on, I get less nervous, but usually
Yeah.
when it starts, I'm a little bit apprehensive, but if I win like the first game or something, or even if I lose it and I have a good game,
Yeah.
I'll be fine. Because I
Are,
think it's always nerve-wracking because like you go into it, you
yeah.
don't know how you're gonna play. So if you
Yeah.
play well, that's nice.
So are the nervous differently playing an online match compared to in-person tournament?
Yeah, I think in person you're definitely a lot more nervous. I am at least, and it's something you gotta learn how to manage. I think every player gets nervous, but some players are just able to deal with it better than others through
Yeah.
experience or mental fortitude or something.
Yeah. So what are your goals or what are your targets for 2024?
Well, I want to try to I don't know. I want to focus on my content, obviously. Try to maybe get 100,000 on YouTube or something. I want to try and get colors at some point. I think that would be like my crowning achievement of what I can do in Tetris.
Yeah.
Maybe game crash later if that's something that's feasible. But colors would be really awesome to get, especially seeing Andy get colors. That's motivated me a little bit
Yeah.
to want to go for that as well. So colors is probably my main thing that I'm looking forward to trying to do.
Myles, thank you so much for being on the Peace Dependency podcast. It was very fun to talk to you and good luck in 2024 and beyond.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And with that all being said, this will be the end of the Peace Dependency podcast. Thank you for listening and watching. Follow me on the socials at SirMazer and at Peace Dependency, and I will see you all in January. Bye!